Okay, we are ready here to start now with the simulations. Your Jupyter lab should be look like this one, and you have several directory here. I have several directory. I don't know which one yours. The one we use today is OMS 3 example basics. With the navigator here in the Jupyter lab, you can navigate through the directories going back and forth. So we can go inside, and here, as you see here, you see all the directory that I illustrate in the lecture before. In particular, you have data, you have dist, you have output, and you have simulations. Then you have many other directory. In fact, you can add how many directory as you want inside a folder that manage your your OMS work. What we are doing here now is to go to the first notebook, which is using a notebook here. Okay. I don't know if you did some practice with the notebooks, and essentially here you can navigate through the file system up to the directory where you start the Jupyter notebook, and which is in my case is this directory a workspace. Then here you have a menu where you can do you can launch new notebook. You can have a console here. You can have a terminal. I am not going to explain to you what it is, a console, a terminal. We use mostly notebook. And in the page of the school, I already showed to you, for instance, where to go and follow a small short course on how the Jupyter Lab works. And we use some features. I'm not illustrating how it works, just going and making you use the things. And the way we do is now we create a new notebook, everybody of us. And please select also that is a Python 3 kernel. Regarding Python notebook, can have a backend several languages. You can have we are using a Python kernel, but you can have an R kernel. If you go here, you have new launcher. For instance, you see that here I have also an R kernel. For who of you is very able to use R, you can start an R kernel, but you have to have install it. And for who wants, I can tell you how to do it later on. In the page, I also said that you can have also Java or Groovy kernels. I am not using it here in this school because it is really experimental. Now you don't, okay. It's really experimental, but you can have, there is this Bakerix that is providing a lot of kernels more than these ones. And possibly next time, we'll be able to execute also in a little different way the program of the OMS, but not today, not this week. And so the launcher here, here you can resize your windows, and what you do is please do like this, like me. So what we do now is just to re-execute the same things. We skip the nodes. but in the meantime, I also, okay, not at the very beginning. And we execute together all this stuff. And but you can build also your comments. You see here, what you see here, this is a notebook, and the first line is called a cell, and the cell has three flavors. One is the code. In this case, you can put Python code, but you can code also a row, simply what you has written, or Markdown. For instance, Markdown is a short set of commands for doing then things that are rendered. There is a short introduction to Markdown. Maybe I didn't provide it, but there are a few ways to just few commands to learn. It's very easy. For instance, this one is for indicating the main chapter. For instance, this is today first class. Okay. For executing, you have several ways to do it. One is to push here, run the select cell advance, or you're doing Control Enter. If you click again, you go back. Okay, and here there is this annoying things that happens to me, but okay. Today, first class. So we put a new cell, and we do. You can just drag and drop. Not all this. Okay. Yes, because this is. You can just drag and drop in this way. This is actually a command, but I was confused because I am commenting here a part which is verbatim the code, the same the way that it appears. So I can also cut it. Yeah. And usually we will import these three libraries here. Okay, this is very. I was to. Okay, this was really explaining the basic. So if I import these three things, these actually are BakerX is not important. I didn't install here the BakerX, so it's not useful. We have to install it. Not the case today. Maybe next Friday. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated to install BakerX in the sense that then, at least for me in this moment, there's some conflicts with R. So if I install it, I don't see R, and vice versa. And what is OS? OS is a library for is a Python library to assess the shell commands. If you want to know where we are, and etc., etc. And another thing we are using this morning is another library that's called IPython. IPython was the first name of the Jupyter notebook and Jupyter Lab. And now is the name of the core that executes all the stuff that we are doing. And in particular, here I import a sub part that is called display. And I import a sub part that is called image, because it was used to me for importing some images, file external images. So if you execute it, it does not. Nothing in the present. I open a new things, but the command that you will do is we will use mainly these two commands. This here we tell us which are the files in the directory. Very simple. And in case we also use, we will use other command like change working directory or knowing working directory. As you see, when you do OS list dir here, another thing to note for non-Python users is that you have something return here, and this is a list, an array in Python. If I do a simple thing, a equal this here, nothing is prompted here, but if you do a again, I obtain this one. And if I do, for instance, a new thing, A0, I just access the first file, which is a string. Okay, so I can, in case I can manipulate, but this is not really very important for what we are doing now. Just to giving you comfortable to these things. What we are using now is now we can simply kill these two things that we don't need anymore. Okay, let me rename these things with the right name. You go here to the name. Okay, here you have the notebooks. You can access some function on the notebook. Just control on second right click and enter. In particular, here you see I want to rename these things because I want to preserve. It says very first notebook. Okay, the name now is changed. We don't need to save. It saves by itself. Then I can kill the notebook, and I go to the next one. Whenever I go, if you look at the version of the notebook, in particular Jupyter Lab is 0 point something. Almost all the libraries of the things that we are I am showing to you are 0 point something. So meaning is all quite still experimental work. It's still growing, but it's growing faster, and really the things that are offered are quite a lot. The only pain that we have is that sometimes something is not exactly working perfectly, so we have some problems, but it's very rare. This is one of the basic example we are using. We do the same thing. We start a new file, a new console, a new notebook, sorry. Okay. And we put side by side with this one. I kill the launcher. Okay. This is explaining to us, we already said in the class before, but now we do. And this is explaining to us how to do to connect two classes. Okay. First, I don't put the things that I am writing here. I just saying no number 2. Very simple, but I just cut them. As I told you, I can go and paste the single operation. I import the OS, and also I import these things. because the scope of this is not just to, if you double click on the cells here, you see that you can hide the cells. My goal here is also to show you how these things work. So okay, now now I started, which is my my directory. But I can do OS list here to understand where I am, and I see that I am actually in the OSM example basic. It's not exactly what I want to do. I want to go a little bit more back. So I go here, winter school. I want to go here in this directory, which is winter school example basics, to see this one. But I want to do internally here. So the command I do is, for you, obviously, this is different because you have a different working directory. I use chdir to go to the new directory where I have the things that I want to execute. I perform listdir again. Say this is the things I see. You see, these are the same that I see here in the navigator browser. So here you have an explanation of what we are doing. That at the end is very simple. And here I use the image command. The image command allows you to upload in the notebook some images, external images. Here I do using an image that I have in internet. This image that you see here, I upload in my OSF repository, and it is there. I have an URL address, and I am copying it here. Okay. I move it. Okay, as you see, now it's not executed, but okay. There is another. This just to show you that you can access images in the internet, but you can access also images in your file system and upload local images. And there is a command which is file name. At the place of URL, you put file name equal and between quotes, and then you can upload a file that you have in your own file system. Yeah. Okay. The same time, I am showing here. I uploaded in this file the various part of the simulation just for illustration, but here I do in a different way. The simulation are in the simulation directory. So you go to the simulation. You see there is EX01, two connected simulations. You click and you see the simulation. And so we comment the simulation here. Maybe you are not comfortable with the highlighting, and you go here to advanced setting editor. No, it's not what I wanted to do. Okay, text editor theme, Jupyter, it's okay. There is a way to, anyway, to highlight these things that now in this moment I don't remember. Is one of these things here. Okay. Okay, it doesn't. I am not finding this moment, but anyway, that's okay. This is a, as you see, it is a sim file, the one of the type that I execute before. I told you that comments in the sim file follow. Okay, this is comment follows the rule, this rule here that I am highlighting. But you can also use to comment more than one line with the slash asterisk closed by slash asterisk. We have two components here, component 1 and component 2. And later on, we want to see where there are component 1 and component 2. And we connect the component 1 and the component 2. These two components do a thing that which is illustrated here. Say, the first component just write the word world. The second component has a string called piece and put together the two components, and at the end produces on the screen a world piece. Okay, nothing particularly special, but the first component we give in input as parameters the name world, and the second we will see. So we have components. Here is not so clear, but the first component is C1, and the real name is example1 component 1, and we have a component that we internally now call C2, and the name in OMS is example 001 comp2. These are the name we use, C1 and C2, the name we use inside this simulation. And this picture here says that we have the out of the first simulations that goes to the input of the the output of the first component that goes as input of the second component. And this is what we write here. Don't be, if you do like this, you see that this is just a comment line. I was not able to show syntax highlighting, so this was not visible before. So the output of these ones goes into the input of this one. This is the gold rule of all the components. The output of the first one goes to the input of the second one. Very easy. Could not be easy in practice because you usually do a lot of missing things, but it works like this. And we have a parameter here, as shown here by this one, as you see. We have to give as parameter the things world. So you say the input of the C1, C in input, is the string word. Okay, this is our sim file. So what is written in this notebook actually is what I say to you so far. But now I didn't execute. Now I hope you have your Docker installed somewhere. And now we can execute inside our Docker command. Actually, there is a sequence of commands here. The first is the bang. The bang is the way to do shell commands, because the one we are doing here, now we have lost the video. Okay. Let's say this command here that now I am highlighting, I can give also from the console. I am not in the right. Okay, I have to go in the right place, obviously, doing from the console in the same. Okay, let's do it, and we see that it will be wrong now. It's just saying here that I am not in the right directory. But if I go to okay, what I am doing is to go in this direction. Now, if I do the Docker command again, you see, okay. Okay, I am in the wrong direction. Hopefully, it will work here. But what I wanted to say is that this command that we are doing here, you can do without the bang in the simulation console in any console. And the bang just say pass it to the console. And this does the simulation. The result is not particularly exciting, if you want, because we just do world peace, but world peace, sorry, no, and so not a particularly important program, but we do a lot of things for what regards the using of the components, meaning that we communicate two components and make each one doing one thing. So everybody was able to execute it. You obviously not. Who is going? Who didn't? Who did? Who didn't?
Actually, I found this morning that piece of information, the installation instructions might be missing.
Okay.
The Docker machine to install.
Okay.
I didn't find
Okay.
I got to look for it.
Yeah. Now we saw this first because all is working exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I illustrate these things. Now I stop the presentation for the moment, and then we do the things with you all until everybody everything works.